Matt Cole, Lynn Eicholt, Sibel, Sasanta, Sibel.
That's okay.
It's in front of me, I can pronounce it. I didn't, Asanta Group.
Perfect.
And we have associate members, Austin Little, and joining us for the first time is our new associate member, Martin Zaber. Is that a correct pronunciation, Martin?
Very good. Yes, you did a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you. I hope the rest of the evening goes as well. After I've made a fool of myself on Zabel's name, it's nice to recoup with yours. So welcome, Martin.
Good to be here.
And Mr. Taub is excused. I think we have everybody, don't we? Yeah. What I thought we'd do tonight is, Austin, I think you were present when Mr. Ballou's case was heard the first time. I'd like you to be the voting member on that application.
This is the Alden.
Since Austin's been voting here a couple of times, if you'd take the last two, if you'd be the voting member for the last two cases, that would be the 5 voters for tonight. Now, I don't see Mr. Ballou in the attendance. Also attending tonight.
He's on his way in.
On his way in, great. Also attending tonight, the building commissioner, Tom Evers, and our secretary, Jen Higgins. We'll wait for Mr. Ballou. Mr. Ballou, welcome back.
Mr. Mulligan, thank you for having me, and hello to the board again.
Not at all. Let me just inform Martin, this is his first meeting. Martin, even though you're not voting on this case, you're more than welcome to ask any questions, and you're fully expected to participate as much as you want, as any other member would do, just so you won't be voting when we call the roll.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Ballou, you've sent us in, I think, an approved plan.
Yes.
And I had the benefit of visiting the property. It's a very unusual piece of property. And I could see how, and once you go there, it's very obvious what you're looking to do. But from this piece of paper, it's difficult.
Oh, thank you for looking then.
Let me try to explain this to those of you who haven't. Has there anyone else been able to see the on site? Okay,
I've been there.
you have been, Martin?
Yeah.
All right, if you look at the most recent plot plan that Mr. Ballou has offered us, and you see that the shaded portion entitled deck. What he's looking to do, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ballou, he's looking to do is extend. Then if you see on the right, there's a emphasized line that says test pit to the right of it. Mr. Ballou is looking to extend that deck to that darker line. It's a small extension to an existing deck. And it's already a non-conforming property because of the coastal bank, which runs along in front of the house there, or behind the house, as you will. And you can see that extension isn't going to accentuate or increase, I don't think, the variance, the non-conforming, not variance, the non-conforming use, basically. So is that a fair statement, Mr. Ballou?
Mr. Mulligan, I couldn't have said it better. Thank you.
Well, good. I'm trying to dig myself out of an earlier hole.
Okay.
So let me ask you this, one more question, then I'll open it up to everybody. Has anything changed on your property or the terrain or anything about this since you were approved in 2017?
No, other than a little bit of erosion from Mother Nature. No, nothing.
All right. Members of the board, any questions?
I have one. On the permit, I think it was 5A number 1, it says that all the existing structure and footings were going to get used. But I think on the plot plan, there's something about a new proposed sonotube, and don't want to split hairs. It should be consistent between the application and the plot plan. But if you look at the plot plan, there's some handwritten and it's highlighted. And it says something about a proposed new sonotube, which makes sense. I think building codes have changed. And on the application 5A number 1, it says use existing. So I just maybe you update the permit to say, you know, because I'm sure it's all approved by the building department.
Yeah, that's a great question. A quick clarification, I think, and I apologize for the confusion. Where the confusion may have arose is that I'm using the existing tubes for the deck. I'm actually resurfacing the deck, which doesn't need a permit, and keeping those, but then just my contractor's putting in one new tube for the
For the
small.
actual extension. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarification.
Oh, good catch. Thank you.
Other questions? Matt?
Question. So am I reading the site plan correctly that the house actually extends over the lot line?
Yeah, it might a little bit, yes.
So there's a retaining wall in part of the house that extends over the lot line, and then the deck extension, as I understand it, tell me if I'm reading this correctly, the deck extension will not extend over the property line. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. No other questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? What's your pleasure? Well, I'll move to grant the special permit. Is there a second?
Check public comment.
Is there any, oh, yeah, thanks, Matt. Is there any, thank you, Matt. I'm digging holes tonight. Is there anyone out there looking to comment either in opposition or in support of this application?
I don't see any hands raised.
No hands raised. All right, great. Are there any other comments or questions by the board members? Is there a second? Austin, did you second?
Seconded.
Okay. All right, let me call the roll. Matt,
Yes.
Lynn.
Muted.
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Sibel,
Yes,
Austin,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes. You have your approval, Mr. Baloo, and you've got
Thank you,
2
Mr.
years.
Mulligan.
You got 2 years, Mr. Baloo.
I'm gonna get it done this time.
All
It'll
right,
happen.
good
I
luck
don't-
with that.
I know you guys don't want to see me again after that, so
Well, not on this issue anyway.
thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mulligan. Thank you to the rest of the board too.
Good
Bye
night.
now.
Have a good night. I'll see you this season.
Yeah, thank
Bye-bye.
All right, the second item for our consideration is case number 2199, 31 Loomis Lane. Mr. Little, are you representing the applicants?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, David Little from Ryder and Wilcox, representing Nicholas Athanasiou and Jean McNett. I provided you with just very, very recently a copy of the approved order of conditions for the project by the Conservation Commission, and I apologize for providing that to you at such a late date. So this is the second time I've represented them before the Zoning Board of Appeals. I represented them back in 2003 when they raised the ridge of their house approximately 3 feet. And we're back before you this evening because they would like to construct a screen porch. They live on a salt marsh overlooking Meeting House Pond, and they really don't have the opportunity to enjoy their deck at certain times during the summer because of the bugs. And what they would like to do is construct a screen porch over the existing deck. And the purpose for doing so is really the bugs and nothing else. When we went before the Conservation Commission, we demonstrated that what they're proposing to do is not only build the screen porch, but remove a significant portion of the deck and restore that portion of the property with native plants and vegetation. But the filing before you this evening is specifically with respect to 16421C of the Orleans zoning bylaw. The height of the dwelling, which is 26.6 feet, remains the same, and the setback from the salt marsh remains the same, but they're proposing to build a deck on, the porch on the existing deck. And this requires a special permit because we are, where the nonconformity is being altered, and that's why we're coming before the zoning board. The plan that we provided you, I have revised many, many times. As you can see, I first represented them in 2003, and I've represented them many times since then. And fortunately, I've been able to use the same plan because work that has occurred on their property has not changed significantly. So you can see that we've noted the portion of the deck to be removed. We've noted the portion of the deck to remain and where the proposed screen porch would go. Specifically, on page 6 of the application, we've noted that the building height is 26.6 feet. The required setback is 39.9 feet, and the actual setback is 27.7. We gave you elevations from Rich Morangel, who is designing the proposed porch. The porch is only visible from Meeting House Pond. The architectural elements are such that we believe it blends in with the existing structure, and it will provide Jean and Nick an opportunity to enjoy the outdoors during some of the summertime dusk times and other times of the day that the bugs are so bad in that area. So that being said, with respect to the zoning criteria for the request for the special permit, we believe the 2.31 acre site is adequate. We believe the site is suitable for the proposed renovation. The residential use of the property in a residential district is appropriate. There would be no new impact on traffic flow or safety within the neighborhood. The proposed project will have no negative impact on visual character in the neighborhood. The site is served by a functioning Title V septic system and town water, and there presently are no stormwater drainage issues on the site. The adequacy of utilities and public services will not be changed or impacted by the addition of the screen porch. And with respect to noise and litter, we believe there would only be noise and litter during, or I should say noise, and those would be temporary noise impacts during the construction of the porch. And a dumpster would remain on site to contain any construction debris. And as I recently provided to you via email, the Orleans Conservation Commission did approve the project. They didn't impose any special conditions. The restoration work is going to be done by Jean McNett herself. And that would be my present, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, and I'll be happy to answer any specific questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Are there any other questions for David? Well, David, let me ask you this. Where is the coastal bank? Is it, this whole house is inside of the coastal bank, isn't it?
Well, the house is within land subject to coastal storm flowage, but the slope of the property is such, Mr. Mulligan, that no coastal bank exists. When the slope of the site is between a 1 in 10 slope or less, no coastal bank exists on the site. But but the section with which we are asking relief, 16421C, not only refers to coastal bank, but it refers to other resource areas such as salt marsh. And so in this case, it's our setback to the salt marsh that we need to request the special permit relief for.
So the existing non-conformity is to the salt marsh.
That's correct.
And explain to me why there's no coastal bank again, please.
So the landform, that if you have a landform that is, excuse me, but if you look at my arm, that is relatively shallow,
Yeah,
no coastal bank exists. It's just land subject to coastal storm flowage. But if you have a landform that is steep like that and then goes up and levels off, there's a coastal bank. And that's all defined by the DEP Wetlands Protection Act, Policy 92.1. And if you went to the site, you could see how it's relatively flat. And
yeah,
so,
I went to the site.
and a few years ago at town meeting, Orleans changed the zoning bylaw so that land subject to coastal storm flowage or flood zone is no longer it can be counted as buildable upland provided there's no coastal bank. So we're very fortunate in this situation, and I believe they did that for situations like this where it's not to me, this doesn't seem like a big ask. It seems like a reasonable request to bring before the zoning board.
Okay.
And I think there was a lot of oh, sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
One more question, David. The deck, the porch is only going to be on the the deck goes around on the front of the house there. And then, so the porch isn't an extension of the deck? It's just-
Only if you look at the site plan that I provided,
Yeah.
only in the very northeast corner, but it does not get any closer to the salt marsh than the existing deck does. There's a tiny triangle
Yeah.
of the deck that is going to become porch where there presently isn't any deck on the site.
And the height of the screened-in porch?
The height of the screened-in porch is less than the height of the existing dwelling, and that's obviously demonstrated on my site plan with the height calculations and also by the elevations that I provided you from Rich Morangel.
Great. Very good. Martin, you have questions?
Well, just a couple comments. I mean, the fact is you're not getting any closer to the salt marsh. You're just going up, which is good. And then the other comment, I thought it was nice that the owner went around to abutting owners and seemed to have talked to them, because there were quite a few letters that came in that, the neighbors were in favor of this. So it was good to see that the owner had done the due diligence with the neighbors. So a couple of positives there. That's it.
Thank you. Nick and Jean have lived here for 38 years. In this house for 38 years.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? What's your pleasure? Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll move that we approve this special permit.
Oh, wait, again.
You got to ask for comments from the audience.
Exactly. It's hard when you don't see people. Is there anyone else out there who wishes to comment either in support or opposition to this application?
I don't see any hands raised.
No hands raised. All right. We do have, I think, at least one letter of support, which we made part of the record. And if I have missed other letters on this application, they'll also be part of the record. So Lynn, would you like to make a motion?
I move that we approve this special permit.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Isabel. All right, let me call the roll. Matt,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Sibel,
Yes,
Martin.
I don't think I can vote.
No, you're voting on this one and the next one. Austin's.
Oh, I
gonna
can.
vote.
I'm in favor, yes.
All right, I'm also. It's a 5-0 vote. You have your permit, Mr. Little.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Same to you. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Now, is there anyone here representing the applicant?
John Kaniga is joining
Hill
now.
Properties? Oh, John Canaga, is he, Johnny representing the applicant?
Yes, sir. How are you, Mr. Morgan?
Very good, thank you. I couldn't read that hen scratching. I didn't know who it was.
It wasn't me, I promise. Mine would have been much less legible.
Oh, this one's pretty illegible, so I didn't know who it was going to be.
Yeah, I generally put apologies on the bottom of my thank you letters because they're not able to be read. I believe my clients might actually be in the audience. I'm looking. Peggy, if you see
I
Mr.
don't,
Fasano.
I don't see Peter. I only have a Monica Rizzo.
Monica is, yes.
Okay, perfect. I'll let her in.
Thank you very much. All right. Am I okay to go, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Kaniga. I'm here on behalf of my clients, Peter Fasano and Monica Rizzio, who own Even Keel Properties LLC and are applying for their property located at 12 Cove Road. This is an application under 2 of our bylaws for an alteration to a pre-existing non-conforming structure. And my clients are seeking to expand their building mostly upward while effectively keeping the same footprint of the structure. The structure within the setbacks and already has a yard size that's smaller than required under village center zoning. After research into the title, the structure was built in 1840. And since the 1800s, I don't know if you looked at the plot plan, but it's quite small. I think that neighborhood right there in general has very small lots. That lots existed since the 1800s and has remained undersized to this day. It actually used to measure slightly smaller, but in the 70s, I think that was corrected. As a result, the structure lot, along with the side setback and non-conforming lot requirements, predate zoning in our town, and it is lawfully pre-existing non-conforming. For the most part, as I stated, my clients are building upwards. They're seeking to retain the historic front facade of the building, owing to its previous use as a Methodist meeting house along in the 1800s. The only addition besides the addition upward on the rear side of the building outside is a wheelchair ramp, which is being built to bring the building into ADA compliance. It will give access to the public as required, and my clients are excited to expand the structure upward to allow more space for their business. The exact bylaws where the nonconformities are arguably expanding are 16421, which is the village center rear and side setbacks, which is a 10-foot setback. And I believe the closest point, if you look at the original plot plan, I think it says 1.1 foot, measures at about 0.98, I think. And then second is 16222I2, which is the village center 10-foot side and rear yards. 16422I2 is a little different because it allows for a special permit within itself, allowing the reduction in the side yard, specifically for access for disabled persons, provided that adequate access is assured for fire or other emergency and public services, and that satisfactory provisions have been made to, for storm drainage, sewage disposal. And in this case, would be for the ADA compliance, which fits the allowance for special permits under that bylaw. Further, though, and back to the common theme on many of my applications, the Orleans zoning bylaws mirroring the general laws of the Commonwealth. Section 164, 3C2 allows the following: other non-conforming structures or uses may be altered, reconstructed, extended, or structurally changed by special permit from the Board of Appeals if the Board of Appeals finds that such alteration will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing non-conforming structure or use. In this case, it's just the structure. The use is conforming. I know you're all well aware of this, but for purposes of my presentation, section 164-44, New Orleans zoning bylaw authorizes the board to issue a special permit when it determines that the use will not be detrimental to established or future character of the neighborhood, and the town will be in harmony, neighborhood and the town, and will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the chapter. The board is directed to consider the following: 1, adequacy of the site; 2, suitability of the site; 3, impact of traffic flow and safety; 4, impact on the neighborhood visual character; 5, the adequacy of the method of sewage disposal and source of water and drainage; 6, adequate utilities and public services; 7, noise and litter; and 8, the impact on groundwater quality recharge volume. I'll address each of those. 1, the site's adequate for the proposed use. It's an appropriate commercial use in the Village Center District, and the use is not changing. The site is suitable for its proposed use. The site has been and will continue to conform with the surrounding neighborhood, and as a result, it is suitable for its lawful purpose and use. The proposal will not, number 3 is the proposal will not impact traffic flow or safety within the neighborhood. The traffic flow for the property will not change, but they are actually adding a parking spot. So I would say overall safety would increase with added adequate parking. The proposal will not, number 4 is the proposal will not impact the neighborhood's visual character. This actually has been in front of the Architectural Review Board, and they completed their hearing on February 23rd, 2023. Many of the existing structures, main features will remain, which was approved by the Architectural Review Board. Number 5 is the method of sewage disposal. The site's actually connecting to the new sewer in the new coming months, so it'll significantly reduce any issues with sewage disposal. The source of water and drainage will not change. There's no added impervious surface as a result of this project. Number 6 is consideration of utilities and other public services. There's no change to the utilities on the site, and it'll be continue to be served by the existing utilities. Number 7 is the proposed project will not cause any undue noise or litter, and with exception of the anticipated construction noise, there will be no increase in either after the project is completed. And number 8 is the proposed change in structure will not have a detrimental impact on groundwater quality, recharge volume, and water quality of coastal and freshwater bodies. I mean, arguably the project, when completed, especially with the tie into the sewer, will be much less effective. So after review of the criteria, the applicant's requests will not be detrimental to the established and future character of the neighborhood, town, and will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the chapter. And we respectfully request the board issue a special permit.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kanaga. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I have a question. In 164.22 subsection I2 specifies that special permit can be granted after consultation with fire chief and board of health. Have you consulted with both of those?
Would you mind answering that, Peter? Sorry.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we had gone through the initial process.
Sir, would you come closer to the screen?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, we had gone through for an informal review. God, Tom, when was that? Like a year ago, almost. And we met with them, and they just required the fire department that everything would be hardwired. And we've been in contact with the water department and the sewer as well.
Could I jump on that? I know it was hard to hear. Is someone refeeding a little bit? Sorry about that. Sorry, Monica. The fire department requires hardwiring of the smoke detectors. And the Board of Health in this instance is actually feeding, and I'm not speaking as a Board of Health member, I'm speaking as an attorney. The Board of Health is cedes its authority once it's no longer part of the nutrient management plan, once tied into the sewer. So it's a kind of an in-between right now, but once it's connected, they're no longer part of the nutrient management plan, which is part of the special permit consideration under the 164, the pre-existing non-conforming.
Perfect. Thank you. One more question from me. 164-22 subsection I3. It's a bit of an odd lot. It didn't seem like from the plan that the additional parking spot was in a side lot, or side yard. Just wanted to confirm that it is not in the side yard. It appears to remember, it seems like it's in the front.
Correct. It's part of that panhandle, and it is an odd lot. There's no way to describe it, but that is that 1800 subdivision where you have the law office right behind it, and you may know of it. Sorry, but it's the very small lots right there.
Perfect. Thank you.
Other questions?
I have a question. From the architectural drawing, it looks like the addition is going to be matching the architectural style of the existing building.
That is the intent, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So, maybe I'm confused here, but it looked to me like on your plot plan, it looks as though the existing building, there's nothing behind it, but there is. It's sort of almost like a lean-to park. There's an existing structure there now, isn't there?
On the existing building, yes.
You say no? You say no?
No, on the existing building, there is a structure.
There is, yeah. There is, yeah. So that's being removed. Right?
Correct.
Somebody's got two things going. We're got an echo here. Okay,
That is being removed, Mr. Mulligan, yes.
okay. All right. And it really goes almost, it goes right to the lot line pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's that measurement, the 0.98. I mean, it's a percentage of a foot difference.
Yeah.
I have another question. I noticed you had quite a few of the neighbors, in favor of the addition. I'm wondering, did Cape Cod 5? Did you go to Cape Cod 5 and ask them?
They have gone to Cape Cod 5. Sorry, I thought I jumped in for your read.
Someone's got two devices going, and it's.
They have gone to Cape Cod 5 and spoke to someone. They were either going to appear in favor or not appear. I'm not sure they're here, but
Okay.
I don't see them as a participant.
I mean,
Yes, they have spoken to them.
You're a foot off.
Bankers are of low regard these days anyway, so it doesn't.
You're a foot off the property.
Only
line.
kidding for the record, only kidding.
It's, you're a foot off the property line. It's a parking lot right now, so it really doesn't matter. But if that ever changed, something new was put there, but I guess that's what fences are for. So, right now it doesn't matter that you're a foot away, but so to say, because it's just the
Right.
parking. But
Okay. Other questions from the board? Is there anyone out? Well, I should say, as Martin has indicated, we've gotten at least 6 letters of support. I don't know if more have come in. They've all come in the last few days. And they will be made part of the record for this application. And again, they applaud you for reaching out to your neighbors. And that's helpful that the people who surround your building are supportive. Is there anyone in the audience looking to speak in support or in opposition to this application?
No hands raised.
No hands raised. All right. What's your pleasure? Is there a motion? I'll move
I move to approve.
and move to, then I'll second. Any further discussion? Call the vote. Matt,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Sibel,
Yes,
Martin.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm a yes also. So it's unanimous, John. Congratulations on your special permit.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Is there anything else to come before the board?
This isn't, Jerry, anything coming before the board, but I would like to make a comment on something that came to my attention. It will only take 2 minutes and I won't take up any more of people's evening time. And it's not related to this case.
Okay, great.
So Monica can leave if you would like.
Okay, thank you.
Do you need,
So,
should Tom?
you need me?
Okay.
Lynn, should Tom stay?
Yes, Tom, could you stay for 2 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was walking in my neighborhood and there's a humongous house built there. And I thought, my God, I haven't seen this before the committee. And this is a huge house. And I wrote Tom and said, this is a huge house on Archer Lane. And Tom said, you approved it on May 18th, 2022. And so I went back and I looked at my notes and it's almost a 5,000, close to 6,000 square foot building, boathouse, etc. And I looked at, why did I raise no questions about it? Because it's very much not in keeping in my mind with the neighborhood. That's the neighborhood I live in. And that case listed a lot of comparables. And when I looked at the address of the comparables, they're a good 15 minutes by car away from where this is. This is right near Nauset Beach. And the comparables were on Pleasant Bay. And so that two things I just wanted to raise, and it's for pondering for the group. One is, I will never again not look at the address of comparables to what the property was that we were looking at, because I would have raised questions about it being out of character in the neighborhood. But the second question is, what is out of character? We've been approving a lot of very large properties, and that's sort of what comes before us. And this was a good example. So I just wanted to raise the issue because it was something that although I'm not compared to Jerry and Bruce Taub, but I'm a wizened member of this board. I've been here 3 years, but I really missed that one by not really looking at where their comparables were, and really there's no substitute for visiting the site. So that's a comment that I made. And so Tom, thank you for tracking it back for me.
Tom, you
Yeah.
have to stay for this because this is a policy stuff, but I would like to comment on that, a couple of things. Tom, you can go if you want to stay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks.
If I can speak, generally, when you have a new building, a new structure, we somewhat rely on neighbors. Neighbors look at this thing and get an idea. People who are most interested in what's happening next door are the people who usually come forward and say, hey, this thing is going to tower over my house. We've had a couple of those cases. This is going to tower over my house. It's not in keeping. We've had it every time we've had an application out of Skakit Beach. That's a colony of small capes built either right after the war or just before the war. And they're all being turned over and people are coming in to build modern houses. And it's changing the neighbors and the neighborhood, and the neighbors who aren't changing are unhappy. It's a tough issue. It's like gentrification is a tough issue. But in that case, and I had no idea. I was over there looking at Loomis Lane, and I drove around, and I obviously saw that it jumps out at you.
Oh, it's a
And
monster.
I agree with you. It's way out of scale with the neighboring houses.
Pretty much, yeah, yeah. But we might have still approved it. I'm not saying, oh my God, terrible decision. It's just that the discussion that probably needed to be had wasn't. In part because I didn't do my due diligence.
Well, I'll tell you, I used to live on Tory Lane, which is where two of the houses were, I think, comparable. And both those houses were the same situation. They came in and they tore down houses that were in keeping with the neighborhood, and these two big ones were built.
Yeah.
So now the neighborhood is sort of known as a neighborhood of big houses. Even
Yeah.
though,
Well, it's not close to where this house was built. So it was a stretch for comparables.
yeah, right.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's not even
anyway,
barely in the same town. You know,
Yeah.
just while we're talking about this, I don't know how tuned in people are to other towns going on in the state, not just Cape Cod. But there was a real brouhaha at the Hingham town meeting last week over ADUs. And that's an issue we're going to having to be faced with. It's really an issue for your board, Lynn, whatever the name of that board is. The planning Citizens Planning Advisory Board, whatever the title is. But there's a under the guise of, not under the guise, but under the banner of making more affordable housing, you're really in danger of changing the whole nature of the town in terms of these ADUs. As if they come with limitations or don't come with limitations, you know. Ours are still fairly limited. We have a article, very minor article, basically on the issue next week at the town meeting. But as this issue gets steam, it's going to be a real tough issue for the town to deal with. We have an advantage that some towns don't have, is that we have our maximum coverage, which I would hate to see suspended on the ADU issue. You know, we have that 15% maximum coverage of the lot, which they don't have in Hingham. And so they had a very nasty town meeting fight over zoning amendments to the ADU. But it's going to be the same kind of an issue, the impact on the neighborhood and how it affects the neighborhood. I don't know how you deal with it, but anyway.
I was just looking into that. The one you were just mentioning, Lynn, I found is 2174. Yeah, 5,800 square feet. Though only, what was it, 8-ish%, I think maybe of the
yeah, it's a
land,
big,
which-
yep, it's a big lot.
jealous. I didn't realize that you could for building size, special permits could be granted without pre-existing non-conformances. So I learned something new today. I had to look through the bylaws for that.
Well, you know, when you have a big lot and your lot coverage is low, that also argues on behalf of the applicant, you know,
No,
but anyway. Well, welcome, Martin. Anything else to come before the board? Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
not much.
See everyone.